Hey guys, with the Battlefield V reveal coming up, I have a wish list for what I want DICE to add for Battlefield 5 and also a wish list of what I really could live without. And since I've been playing ever since, well, basically Battlefield 1942 and all of the Battlefield games since then, I should know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Of course, this is just all my opinion, your opinion may differ. So let's start off with the things that I want. I loved the sniper sweet spot feature added in Battlefield 1. It made all of the snipers feel different and viable at different ranges, so if I wanted to make a more aggressive approach, I would use a specific sniper for that. If it was longer ranges, I would use a completely different sniper rifle. Compared to Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3, where basically all you had to do was choose the sniper rifle that suited your playstyle the most, and then you could basically just stick to that one sniper rifle throughout your entire sniping game. Of course, you can do the same in Battlefield 1, but with the added sweet spot mechanic, it made some of the other snipers way more viable. And also, I would love for DICE to add some sort of mechanic where you could customize your soldiers so it made it look a lot more personal, so you wouldn't just have 4 specific character models to the specific factions. I really love the way that it did it in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 with different camo loadouts, and you could put different camos on your weapons. That would be awesome if they would add this feature, plus some more features would be more than welcome in Battlefield 5. Also, the gunplay mechanics from Battlefield 4 is what I think is the best gunplay mechanics out of all of the Battlefield games. It feels on point and refined now. After I've went back and played it a lot, it feels a lot more reliable and consistent compared to Battlefield 1. You're able to make use of your skill, and I was able to get a lot more headshot kills with assault rifles, LMGs and SMGs compared to when I was playing Battlefield 1. It was basically just use a high rate of fire weapon in close quarters and just hip fire away. And if you're at longer ranges, use some of the more stable ones. But I always shot center mass, so basically at the torso of people. I would never go for the head unless, of course, I was sniping. But then again, even that was too unreliable, so I was just gonna go for the sweet spot there. So that's the thing. I really want them to add skill to Battlefield 5. I don't want the inconsistency, and I don't want all of the spread mechanics from Battlefield 1. I just want consistent, accurate and on-point weapons that have different strengths and different weaknesses, so you can use the specific weapon in that specific scenario. Of course, the one with the better skill wins, not as it is now in Battlefield 1, the one with the better weapon wins. And that's the thing that I want back into Battlefield. Skill. I don't want random mechanics, I want skill to be introduced. In Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, you could still use some of the slower rate of fire and compete with the higher rate of fire if you were just more on point with your shots. But in Battlefield 1, just as an example again, it just feels too unreliable, so I'm not relying on it. I use the most overpowered weapons, because if you don't, then you're gonna lose to the people who use the overpowered weapons. What I actually wanted for Battlefield 5 was that it was gonna be a modern warfare type of setting. And from all that we've gathered and all of the so-called leaks and all of the speculations on the internet, it looks like it's gonna be World War II. There's gonna be a whole different video about that aspect after we've got all of the details for Battlefield 5, so I'm not gonna cover that now. But I really wanted it to be a modern warfare game. But since it looks like they're gonna go with World War II, I hope and I pray that they're gonna do it authentic. Because with World War II, you can't just imaginate all of the different things, at least in my opinion. You gotta stay true to the World War II settings, or else it's not gonna work. If you wanted to fantasize or have some sort of different type of setting, then you should have done that from the beginning. So I really hope that Battlefield 5 is gonna feel and it's gonna be authentic and feel like an authentic Battlefield game, where skill is involved but still with huge maps and huge player count. And also another thing, I would rather see the Battlefield 3 knife takedown animation compared to the one in Battlefield 4 and of course the one in Battlefield 1. Because in Battlefield 1, you just basically mash the melee button when people are just up in your face, and most of the time you're gonna win. And that's basically all the battle is when it gets into close quarters, like extreme close quarters. If it's melee range, everybody are just gonna spam their melee weapons, and the one with the faster mashing or the stronger weapon is gonna win. In Battlefield 4 they added the counter knife mechanics, but that mechanic was broken from the beginning and still is broken. I only knife in Battlefield 4 when I know I can take them down without them being able to counter knife me. And that was all of the things that I want for Battlefield 5. I know that this video is quite rapid fire, like I'm just putting all of the things out there that I want and also the things I don't want and also why I want them or why I don't want them. But I just want to be short and precise, but still get all of the information across without this video taking ages. So now, things that I hope and that I wish that DICE will not add in Battlefield 5. I don't want elite classes that were available in Battlefield 1. I've hated them from the get-go. I don't feel like it's a great addition to the game that one player can just pick it up and then with just a tiny bit of support from friends, that sentry is basically a tank. Of course, there's some you can take down with either a knife animation or a bayonet charge, but I really don't like them and I've never liked sentry classes. And I also don't want battle pickups from Battlefield 4 because I don't like the idea that there's just gonna be big ass weapons that's insanely powerful that can take you down in one shot at any range when no other infantry weapon is able to do that. One thing is in Battlefront, it makes sense that you can get an elite class. It sort of works there, but still that's a whole different scenario, that's a whole different game. But in Battlefield 5, I don't want elite classes and I don't want battle pickups. Behemoths. You all know the behemoth added in Battlefield 1. I don't like them either. If a team or if one side is not working together as a team and playing the objective and playing together as a team, then they're gonna lose. That's just how simple it is. The ones that are gonna play as a team and play the freaking objective, they're gonna win. And I think that the fact that DICE added Behemoth is just a lazy balancing method for a game. First of all, I've rarely seen a Behemoth being able to turn the tide of a map or of a round because it doesn't change the fact that people did not play together as a team. And if they can't play together as a team and work together and play the objectives, then they can't win and then frankly they don't deserve to win. So I really hope, for the love of freaking DICE and the EA, that whoever decides what's added, that they are not gonna add the Behemoth, because I think like it was a poor choice. Also, I don't want Levolution. It was cool in the trailers in Battlefield 4. It was okay, it was cool, but it was rare that it added anything to the game besides just taking something away from a round. More often than not, Levolution ruined a map, ruined a game, than the fact that it helped it. And we all know the one, Siege of Shanghai. It looked awesome in the trailer and it still was awesome the first couple of times it happened, but after that it was just basically horror. Like, I couldn't be bothered with it. I wish that they had added back in Battlefield 4 the feature to turn off Levolution server side. Most of the time, Levolution did not help my gameplay experience, and a lot of other people said the same thing, and there's still a lot of servers, especially on Siege of Shanghai, which basically saying that if you Levolution, or if you activate the Levolution, we're gonna reset the server because no Levolution is allowed. There's a ton of those servers. And that also caters to my next subject. Suppression. I've disliked, no, let's use a stronger word because that's how I feel. I've hated the suppression system in Battlefield 3, 4, and indeed Battlefield 1. If DICE really want to add suppression or the suppression system into Battlefield 5, please make it only visual, so it's gonna be blurry screen but like a tunnel vision and not too much sway on the weapon, and it's not gonna change the bullet or the gunplay mechanics in any other way than just a slight sway. And of course you could also make it so that it was only gonna be the big ass weapons, the big ass LMGs, either mounted or the belt-fed LMGs that the support class runs around with. Those are gonna be the only ones who can add any sort of suppression. That would be awesome. If it's gonna be anything different than that, then no, I don't want the suppression system in Battlefield 5. Next up is elevators. I know this is probably not gonna be the main issue if this game is gonna be World War II, because elevators is the bane of my existence, or basically the bane of any existence whatsoever. In Battlefield 4 they added elevators so everybody could get to a rooftop where people were usually camping, but this added one additional sort of camping that I absolutely despised, but also absolutely loved. When I was trying to get onto the roof, I hated this because people would plant explosives and either activate it with a high-powered sidearm, rifle, or a detonator just like the C4, and people had no way of defending against that when going up with the elevator. Of course, what I found out in Battlefield 3 and in Battlefield 4 is that when people place explosives near an entrance, that they are trying to camp and that they want to get the easiest kill possible on there, is that you just use the recon class, take out the MAV, fly up, and detonate it in their face so they die instead. It gave me huge giggles throughout Battlefield 4, but it's still the bane of my existence. And even then, if I'm on the roof and I see that an enemy is coming up with the elevators, what am I gonna do? I'm of course gonna chuck down some explosives, especially C4, because I know they're coming up. Why wouldn't I? I can't just outfire 4 or 5 people in an elevator, but 1 or 2 C4s is gonna do the entire job for me. So please, guys, I know this is probably gonna be a World War II game, but if you add any sort of elevators, please don't. There's only gonna be 2 things left to cover that I don't want. One is that I don't want it to be catered towards new players, like Battlefield 1 or Battlefront. They were too casual and it wasn't really reliant on skill. I talked about this earlier. I really hope they're not gonna focus Battlefield on picking up new consumers or new buyers or new players. I want them to focus on the player base they've already got from Battlefield Bad Company 2, from Battlefield 3, from Battlefield 4, because we all love the game so much. But a lot of us left because of Battlefield 1. We left to play Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and I've done that these past few days, and there's still a lot of servers more than alive. And the influx of players to Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 is because Battlefield 1 was lacking the skill that you felt from Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. And the last thing that actually directly impairs team play is when vehicles, I'm also again gonna use Battlefield 1 as a subject, have auto repair or self-repair. That basically meant that you could go solo in a vehicle and there was no incentive for your teammate to pick up a repair kit, repair tool, and help you keep your tank alive, because you could more or less do a better job yourself. And of course, the support class in Battlefield 1 is going to choose ammo box and C4 or mortar or any sort of other thing other than the repair tool. I miss the engineer class, dedicated to taking down vehicles, being in close quarter combat, and also to support your own team's vehicles. I miss that feature. I want another engineer class. That's basically what I'm saying. I want an engineer class that is basically catered only towards taking down vehicles and helping our vehicles, and that's gonna incentivize more team play. Now, I know all of this was basically rambling, and I know all of this was more or less just rapid firing because I had a lot of subjects that I wanted to cover. Hopefully all of my wishes will come true, and then again, all of this is only my opinion. Our opinion may differ. Maybe you hate the sweet spot mechanic. Maybe you love the behemoth. Maybe you think that the grenade spam is okay. Maybe you like the elite classes. Or maybe you prefer that it's not authentic, or you prefer that you can't have a knife takedown. I don't know, because we're all different. So what I want you to do now is tell me your opinion, not only of my wish list, but also I want to hear your guys' opinion and what you guys hope for in Battlefield 5. That's it from me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.